back into that Sean podcast. Oh, it feels so good. Well, at least for one of us. It is me, the Big Ush. It is that Cat Daddy. And one of us is celebrating. The other one is not. I think you can guess.
Yeah, they can tell who's who. Yeah.
One of us made the championship in our fantasy football league. The other one had a sad outcome, and that is okay.
The other one scored the second most points in the championship bracket, only to be facing the team that scored the most points. But
you should have did better than the regular season. That's all I gotta say about that.
It's true.
With all that said,
yeah.
Mr. Cat Daddy over here still has a chance to win money by going for the third place. So he still has work to do, my friend. I know. It's a consolation prize. What can you do?
Consolation.
All right. Now, lining them up. We're going to get right into it. We're going to let Cat Daddy over there brood a little bit more.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And we're going to go with our receipts, which weren't as much fun as they could have been.
No.
We're going to go with mine. My two trusts. I said to trust Brady. And you know something? He wasn't awful. He did stuff. But it wasn't up to par, so I'm taking the loss on that. I said to trust Austin Eckler. I didn't know he wasn't going to play. So I'm taking the loss on that one. I said to trust CD Lamb. He did stuff, but it was only 66 yards. I should have remembered. Oh, yeah, it's Amari Cooper who just feasts on the Redskins. Football team, especially at home. Then I said to trust Dallas Goedert. That was a bad move. Cat Daddy, how about your trust?
It's funny that you went 0 for 4 on your trusts, because I also went 0 for 4 on my trust. Justin Herbert as my quarterback. Total bust by the Chargers this week. I get that they lost, but you'd think statistically, for fantasy purposes, it still should have been a good game. He had, I think, over 300 yards, but he had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, which cancel each other out. So that was a total bust. I told you, trust Cordarrelle Patterson. The reason Cordarrelle Patterson was not featured in this game, he ended up with 70 carries, which for some odd reason is the same exact number of carries that Mike Davis got. Patterson only turned it into 14 yards on the ground. He had very, very little impact in the passing game. He was able to score a touchdown, but with his 14 yards, it just wasn't enough to move the needle to get a... I had Keenan Allen stacked with Justin Herbert, and that blew up in my face because Keenan Allen had his touchdown streak halted at 2 games, and I'm very surprised he wasn't able to do any better with Mike Williams out, Austin Eckler out, Jalen Guyton out. I don't know how. It doesn't make sense to me. At some point, I'll need someone to explain this, but tight end not to trust.
Because they just covered Keenan Allen.
Yeah, they just threw 3 people on him. Yeah. They gave him the Devontae Adams treatments.
Right, because there's no one else.
Justin Jackson had a good game. Who would have thought Justin Jackson could have been a league winner? But man, tight end to trust was Mike Gesicki, and let me tell you, Tua only had eyes for Jalen Waddle. Gesicki was targeted 4 times in the day. He turned it into 3 catches, 22 yards. I knew I should have just double-dipped Gesicki into my not trusts. I knew it.
All right, well, that being said, speaking of not trust, I said don't trust Tua. And where Tua still had a decent game in real life, fantasy, not so much.
Yeah, we're talking fantasy here.
Chuba Hubbard, I said don't trust. Oh, no, boy, not trust him. Now, here's where I faltered. I said don't trust Stephon Diggs. Diggs had a pretty good game. 86 yards and a touchdown, or 85 yards and a touchdown. good.
That's good.
But I said, don't trust Mike Gesicki. I went against Sean, and yeah, I got that one because he was going against the Saints, bro. That being said,
Yep.
you're not trust. I think you did pretty well.
I did pretty well on this. My quarterback not to trust was Kirk Cousins. He did better against the Rams than he did the Bears, which was really surprising. It's very strange how that works out. He ended up with 300 and some yards, touchdown, interception. So he definitely finished outside of the top 12, even top 15 in scoring. So win number one. My running back not to trust was Aaron Jones. Put up 66 yards on the ground, another 21 yards through the air, but we're not counting PPR, so those 5 receptions are not factored in. He got you about 8 points. I don't think that's good enough.
No.
So we got a victory there. Number 2, we have wide receiver not to trust, Terry McLaurin. And with Dallas up early, this should have been a good game for McLaurin as Washington was just forced to throw the ball.
Well, Dallas
However,
didn't let up.
when you have poor quarterback play from Taylor Heineke plus a dominant Dallas defense, they were able to limit Terry McLaurin to 3 catches and 40 yards.
Not to mention, let's be honest, does Trayvon Diggs just have McLaurin's number?
He has Heineke's number, yeah.
Well, because first play of the game, Heineke went. Well, no, first play for Washington, first offensive play for Washington. Heineke went deep to McLaurin, and Trayvon Diggs was like, "Thank you very much," on my fantasy team, by the way. But I mean, there were more stops from Trayvon Diggs. Now, you want to know why people? No, but we're not going to get into that. That's not fantasy. All right, now your tight end.
Tight end not to trust was Hunter Henry, who was able to command 6 targets, but he only converted that into 1 catch for yards. More importantly, 0 touchdowns. So, like I said, don't go chasing waterfalls and don't go chasing last week's touchdown. It is what it is.
How do you chase a waterfall?
No, ask DLC. But I missed on all 4 of my trust. But I made it up by hitting on all 4 of my not trusts. Don't trust, so I'll take it.
Yes. All right, next up, we're going bold for the championship series. So, trust, don't trust. All right, I'm going to start out. My QB to trust, Dak Prescott. They're at home. They're against a Cardinals team that has not been playing well. The Dallas team just put up a ton of points, and they're feeling themselves. I've been telling people they've been close. If they come out like they did against Washington, I don't care if Arizona's got better defense. They will put up numbers. Sean, you're to trust QB.
I don't think the people are ready for this.
Give it to them.
Do you think they're ready?
They not, but I mean, it doesn't matter if they're ready.
All right.
They better be ready.
You guys better be sitting down while you're watching this, listening to this. My trust.
Sit down.
Trey Lance, San Francisco 49ers. I do not expect Jimmy Garoppolo to start in this one with his thumb injury and San Francisco's just general disdain for him. I don't expect him to be in there. But all I know is Houston has allowed 10 rushing touchdowns since their bye week. I know 9 of those have belonged to running backs, but still, Houston is giving up points on the ground. And where is Trey Lance dangerous?
With his legs.
On the ground. Now, does this kind of hurt the value of Deebo Samuel? Maybe a little bit. Does
Maybe
it
not.
hurt George Kittle? Maybe a little bit.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Will it help Brandon Ayuk with those big bombs? Maybe if he knows how to throw them correctly.
No, I'm going to tell you right now. Trey Lance is helped out by George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. He will target them a lot. Brandon Ayuk's the one that's going to not be helped out because Trey Lance at times has a habit to go high. Well, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle know how to go up and climb that ladder, and they're big body dudes. Those are the guys he's going to target.
But yeah, Trey Lance, he can be a league winner.
All right, next up, My running back to trust is Nick Chubb. He was a monster last week against the Green Bay Packers, who have a very good defense. This week he plays the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers like teams to run on them. Teams just run on Pittsburgh like no other. And Nick Chubb is going to go ham. Go ahead, Sean. Who's yours?
Running back to trust, I have Ezekiel Elliott going against the Arizona Cardinals because this Arizona defense just isn't the same without J.J. Watt, and they've been giving up a lot of yards on the ground lately. They gave up 108 to Jonathan Tweak. They gave up 112 to some guy named Craig Reynolds in Detroit.
Who?
And while, exactly, he has a pretty sweet tattoo though, you should look that up. But while Elliott may not see triple-digit rushing yardage, I do think he's going to be able to capitalize on some red zone opportunities.
Definitely. All right, my wide receiver to trust. I think this is the first time I've used him this year. He is on my fantasy team, Mr. Cooper Kupp. I think Mr. Cooper Kupp has a banner day this week. The Rams understand the potential NFL records that are out there. And I think they are going to feed Cooper as much as possible. And the Ravens just aren't that good against the pass. They don't have the corners to man up with this guy. He is going to have a heck of a day. Sean, I think you got an opinion on that?
You're telling people to trust the number one wide receiver in football and fantasy
Josh
football.
Right. I think this week, and I may be wrong, but I think this week he could probably put up the numbers for 3 wide receivers.
All right, if we're using Cooper Kupp here,
Yes.
if we're using Cooper Kupp,
Yes.
what is the floor? Yards, touchdowns. What are we looking at?
The floor,
Like, what are we saying is going to be a success for Cooper Kupp? Because a success for
150,
my
150
wide receiver,
yards, 150 yards and at least 2 touchdowns.
All right, I like that. Now it's interesting.
I'm saying he could possibly win them their league all by themselves. So I'm talking about putting up the T. Higgins numbers.
So you're saying that anybody with Cooper Kupp on their roster can bench everybody else but Cooper Kupp and still win their championship?
Quite possibly, but don't do that. I would never give that advice.
All right, my wide receiver to trust is not quite as bold as that one. But it is still bold in the sense that it's A.J. Brown going against the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, A.J. Brown just came back, commanded 16 targets, converted it to 11 receptions. He had close to 150 yards, a touchdown, but that was against San Francisco. It's a little bit different defense. Miami likes to blitz. They like to blitz that secondary. They have good corners on the outside. They have Xavier Howard. They have Byron Jones. So A.J. Brown's going to have to win one-on-one against these guys. It's going to be harder, but I like A.J. Brown.
All right, well, if you poo-pooed on my wide receiver pick, let's see how he feels about my tight end pick.
You going George Kittle?
I am going George Kittle. He's playing the Texans, man.
You know, I got Trey Lance as my quarterback to trust, so I wouldn't mind if he threw like 8 touchdowns to George Kittle. Yeah.
Wouldn't mind it either. But with Trey Lance in, George Kittle's a big body for him to throw to, and he's a reliable target. You know he's going to most likely catch it, get you some yards after the catch, do a lot of that dirty work. I could see this working out very well.
Okay.
All right, your tight end, Sean.
Gesicki hasn't come through. Do I put Gesicki in, or do you want another tight end from me?
No, you switched up. Switch it up.
I can switch it up. All right. If I'm not putting Mike Gesicki in, who is probably going to prove me wrong and have like a career day over the weekend, so it's probably going to happen. So, we've seen stranger things happen.
Yes, we have.
So,
It's a
my
very good show.
other tight end to trust would be Rob Gronkowski. Yep, Tom Brady. They're going against the New York Jets. Antonio Brown's going to be busy. Mike Evans is probably going to be out. Chris Godwin's going to be out. I know the last game against the Panthers, he really didn't have to do much. He just had one catch for 20-some yards.
As I looked, he didn't actually look that great. He needs to get right game.
But the 2 games prior to that, he had a combined total of 20 targets. Now, he only turned it into 7 receptions, but I think Jets get right game. He's going to get on the board. He's going to do a Gronk spike. Trust him.
All right, next up, my QB not to trust, Kyler Murray. I know Kyler Murray's got those legs and he can get out of the pocket and stuff like that, but his passing has not been as good lately. He's not going to have DeAndre Hopkins. Plus, the Dallas defense has been really good against the pass. They've been able to keep a lot of these quarterbacks in the pocket. I see a rough day for Kyler. I could be wrong, but I see a very rough day for Kyler.
I also see a rough day for Kyler Murray, and he's also my quarterback not to trust. He's been struggling with accuracy. He doesn't have his number 1 target.
Oh, yeah. Also,
yeah.
I see Micah Parsons spying Kyler all day long.
And that's what I was going to add in. We know that Kyler has the ability to run, to scramble, but
that's a terrifying big man with a lot of speed.
Just keep Micah Parsons on him. Spy him.
All right, next up, my running back not to trust is Joe Mixon. The Chiefs have been really, really good on defense lately, and they've actually been really good against the run. Chris Jones, that guy's a monster. I see Joe Mixon not having a really great day. Sean, who's your running back not to trust?
Coming off a big game against the Denver Broncos, my running back not to trust is Josh Jacobs. He's going against a Colts defense that has really stepped up the run defense after their bye week. I think for Josh Jacobs to have value, he's going to need to score a touchdown, and I'm not even sure that's a guarantee for him.
All right, next up, my wide receiver not to trust is Keenan Allen. He already had a rough day against the Texans. Now they're playing the Denver Broncos, who have much better cornerback. And I'd see them have another rough day.
All right, my wide receiver not to trust is DK Metcalf. Seattle going against the terrifying Lions defense. Lions are definitely playing harder than their record indicates, and Seattle's playing worse than their record indicates, even though they only have 5 wins.
No.
But still looks a little bit worse. But there's just not a lot to like about that Seattle offense. It looks like Russell Wilson came back too soon. He rushed his way back from the finger injury. The accuracy has been getting better over the past couple of weeks, but when we're looking at how he played against the Bears, he had 5 targets, 2 catches, 41 yards, and one of those catches was a 41-yard touchdown catch. The other one was a no gain. So I don't trust DK Metcalf. There's just something about that Seattle offense that just makes you think, man, Pete Carroll's gonna mess it up.
All right, my tight end not to trust is Kyle Pitts. Buffalo's a good defense. Yeah, they haven't been great against the run lately, but they're a good defense. They know exactly who the top target is in Atlanta, and they're going to try to take it away.
Yeah, that's
One more, Sean.
That's true. Tight end not to trust. Noah Fant going against the Los Angeles Chargers. The last time the Broncos faced the Chargers, Fant ended up with 3 catches, 12 yards on 4 targets. and that was with Teddy B as his quarterback. This time, he's likely going to have Drew Lock, and we just don't know which Drew Lock is going to show up this week. Combined with Noah Fant not really having much involvement in the passing game recently, there's not a lot about it.
All right. So that is the show for this week, folks. We only got one more show for the fantasy football season for this year. We're going to be starting that back up next summer when we do our pre-rankings. For now, giving you my little words of wisdom here. And it's, even if you've been bounced out of the playoffs, even if you did not make the championship game and you're playing for a consolation prize, don't falter. Don't falter. Finish strong. Don't be that guy. Finish strong. Don't get mad. It is okay. Now, if you did make the championship game, then do whatever ritual you need to do without hurting another person. Because this is the gusto. This is where it is. This is what it's all been for. Good luck to you. Sean, any thoughts for the people?
I feel like that was a personal attack. But I'm gonna forget about that, and we're just gonna move on. And I'm gonna say that if you have healthy starters, consider yourself lucky, because injury and illness has been going through the roof. And
wait, is that why you lost?
I lost.
It mattered.
In this matchup, no. I think even if I had a full roster, I think I was still going to fall short because my defensive players just weren't coming through. But if I were playing anybody else in the championship brackets, I would be happily dancing my way to the championship game. But here I am fighting for third place. So
ifs and buts, you know what's what.
I know. Not the way I wanted my season to end, but I need to finish strong by taking home third place. And I'm going to be next year. I see room for improvement, and I'll drop some knowledge on you guys too in the future episodes.
Indeed. All right, so we'll see you guys next week.